Welcome to the FMC Lounge, everyone. I am your host, Joe for show, and in this video, we are going to be going over the new Descendants Ines Raya that dropped for the mid-update of Season 2 on the first Descendant. If you could do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube, leave a like, drop a comment down below. It will really help with the YouTube algorithm. You could just put an emote in the comments. You don't need to say anything. You could put, poop emote, talk trash to me. It's all good. All of it's going to help. In this video, I'll be going over her abilities, 3 different builds, a mobbing build, a bossing build, a tank build, and also at the end of the video, I will have full gameplay of me displaying the tank build in a public lobby with Defiler. So with randoms, not solo. You guys can see you could use Ines Raya tank build in pubs as well, not just solo. For the yapping, let's jump into the video. Now, because Ines is a new Descendant in the game, we are going to go through her abilities and break it down and her passive as well. Something I don't do in previous videos if the Descendant's already in the game. But anyway, our first ability is Chain Lightning. When she fires a Chain Lightning, it goes towards the enemy and it bounces between enemies. As you can see on the right side of the video, it bounces 7 times. Now the range, the more range you have, the farther it could go. And also in the video later on, I will show that the range could give you more bounces as well, depending on which Transcendent mod you're using. And when you hit an enemy with your first ability, they are going to get inflicted with Conductor. And when you hit an enemy that has Conductor, it does increase damage. The second ability is Lightning Conductor. It creates a current coils on nearby enemy to deal damage. If you do this to an enemy that's already hit with Conductor, it's going to do more damage. This also is going to inflict Conductor on them as well. Her third ability is Discharge. When she charges in her hand, electricity should be able to thrust it forward. If you do it at the right timing, you get the max damage. If you look in the video, you're going to see her hand glow and flash. That's the peak timing where you want to release for the max damage. Also, if you do this to an enemy that has Conductor, it is going to do increased damage. And then her fourth ability, it throws a Plasma Acceleration Coil forward, which is a big AoE damage thunder snare. And when you hit enemies with this, they're also going to do increased damage because the Conductor, when using your skill, it's going to grant you Short Circuit. And while Short Circuit is active, you are going to have a Dark Current deals damage at the max damage rate. And then which called Thunder Snare is going to also create current coils on nearby enemies, which also is going to transfer Conductor and do increase more damage as well. And for the passive, the more MP that you have, the better skill critical hit rate she's going to have. Also, the more you hit enemies with skill critical hit for your skills that are affected by Conductor, it's going to give you a mana restore. Also, when you hit enemies with a firearm or skill that's already had Conductor on them, it's going to cause Dark Current. When you kill an enemy with Conductor, it will still trigger the Dark Current, and Dark Current, it just deals proportion of damage to a nearby enemies based off max MP. So it's another way of doing extra damage based on your MP, like Conductor. So, and Dark Current also affects Conductor on everybody. So basically, when you hit anybody with any abilities, they're going to get hit with Conductor. And then when you kill them, they're going to spread a Conductor. They're going to spread the Dark Current, and it's just going to be extra damage. So you're going to be doing like double damage, spreading it around. And also, when you're hitting enemies with Conductor, it is going to give you your plasma energy. So what plasma energy is, it's Ines Raya custom resource. She builds it up by using her first and second ability. And now when it comes to her third and her fourth ability, it actually doesn't consume mana when using it, it consumes plasma. Now, to give you guys a demonstration of how the plasma energy works, and something you guys want to keep in mind when you are using Ines Raya, is basically when you are hitting to make plasma energy, you got to hit enemies, but it has to be a new enemy. You can't hit the same enemy, as I'll show you right here. So we have 9 new enemies. I'm gonna use my ability once. You see the red bar building up under the mana. Now we're gonna use our ability again. It doesn't go up again because these are the same enemy. So you need to keep this in mind. To charge up your plasma energy, to use your third and fourth ability, you have to hit new enemies. It cannot be the same one. It's not going to work even if you use your gun or something, or your another ability. It's not going to work. Now for the mobbing build, it's going to be based off her Transcendent mod, Time and the Hunting Hound. What this is going to do, it's going to change her skill to a quickly dash, which is our third one. Third one's going to get changed to a quickly dash instead of the hand pierce. It's going to deal damage and inflict conductor all enemies in the path. It's going to reduce the number of bounces on our first ability to change lightning, but we'll be able to get more of the bounces back, which I'll show in a little bit. And it's also going to modify the archetype of her skill to tech. Her first and her third ability, they were both singular, but now all her abilities are tech, so you could just use one electric and tech reactor and all her abilities are going to get the buff. Another thing that the Time of the Hunting Hound is going to do, it's going to make our first ability have 3 stacks instead of 1, so you'll be able to spam it more often, especially when you add in more cooldown mods as well. Now previously, when you do not use the Transcendent mod, you have 7 bounces and your skill power is at 207. Your additional damage is at 51.9. But when you equip the Time of the Hounds, your bounces are going to go to 4, but you're going to get a little bit more skill power damage. It's going to go to 255. Now with our third ability, the skill power damage is 3600 and the additional damage with conductor is 900. But with Time of the Hounds on, you're getting a pierce damage of 630 skill power and then a burst damage of 3700. So you're getting more damage with your third ability because of how it changes. As you see in the video, it's more like a dash forward, and then you're still getting the additional skill power from the conductor, which is 468. Now before we go over the mods and everything, I just want to remind you guys, subscribe, leave a like, comment. It will really help. I know you guys are skipping the intro, which is perfectly fine. I understand a lot of people are here just to see the mods and everything, which is totally fine, but I just want to remind you guys. So our first mod we're going to talk about is Nimble Fingers. We are running Nimble Fingers MP conversion. Like I said earlier, we are running 2 cooldown mods. For our damage mods, we're running Tech Specialist, Front Lines, Electric Specialist, Skill Insight, and Skill Concentration. We're also running 2 HP mods and 1 range mod. Now for the Tech and Specialist and Electric Specialist, you can put on focus for both of these, give yourself more cooldowns. I like having, 1.9 is perfect for me. My fourth ability is at 11.4. That everything works for me, but if you want a little bit more cooldown, you can change these to the purple, focus on Tech and focus on Electric. I am only running 3 skill mods because I feel like I'm already at 100%. As you can see, I don't need a 4th one. The 4th one, it will let me get over 5 for the crit hit damage, but I feel it's not necessary. And then another thing is I'm running 2 HP mod just so I can be a little bit more tanky, and I'll explain why when I go over the components and the reactor. And we're just using 1 range that's going to give me 6 or about 7 bounces. I really don't need another range mod to get more bounces, and I feel like my Snare Hunter, the radius is pretty big as it is with just 1 range. And also the max expendable range is only 200%, and 1 range mod 90% is about like what, 20% less of 200%. So if you add on another range mod, you're going to go over the 200% max range, and so you're not going to get no benefit from that at all. Now let me show you how you can get more bounces even with the Transcendent mod equipped. So let me just show you the mod real quick. We have the mod on, but we have no range, right? So it's going to give us 4 bounces when we use our first ability. Now if we throw on a range mod, you're going to see that we're going to get more bounces. Now when it comes to the reactor, it's mainly your choice. For your bottom stat, you at least want skill critical hit damage, and then your other stats, it's up to you what you want. I rock this for now, but I also have this one right here that I'm probably going to switch to. I just don't have the materials to change the mounting on this and then level up the reactor as well. I'm kind of broke from, as you can see, I level up all kinds of different reactors, so I'm broke. Nothing I can do about it. Now for the components, we are running 4-piece Slayer. This is the main reason why I'm running 2 HP mod, so I could be a little bit more tanky, because running 4-piece Slayer does make you squishy. Now for this build, the MP recovery out of combat and then MP recovery modifier kind of doesn't matter for Ines Raya, because of the way her passive works. When you are hitting enemy with your skill critical hit rate, which we talked about earlier, you're going to restore MP. So MP is really not an issue with Ines Raya. But for this right here, her second component, the sensor, max MP is a must, because the more mana you have, the higher the skill critical hit rate is. So for your second component, make sure you have max MP. And in this one, try to get HP, try to get defense. It'll help you have a little bit more higher defense HP, so you won't be that squishy. Now when it comes to the weapons, you want to run Secret Garden. You want to make sure your reactor is a tactical rifle, so you could get the, you won't miss out on the damage boost. And the main reason why you're going to be running Secret Garden is because of the unique ability. Whenever you use a tech ability, you're going to activate pest control, and pest control is going to get, for 10 seconds you're going to get increased firearm damage and skill power, and it stacks up to 3 times. This is a way to increase your damage even more. Your other 2 weapons, it's up to you. Run over whatever you like. I like to run Smithereen because it is a great burst DPS for the yellow name bosses and void vessels, 400% dungeons, or even in the void erosions. Now for the bossing build, we are running Time of the Hunting Hounds, and majority of the mods are the same. The only thing that really changes, I swapped it to focus so I can have more cooldown, and then I got rid of HP mods. We put on Dangerous Ambush, so when we knock down the boss, we can do a little bit more damage. And I threw on the extra range mod. The reason why I threw on extra range mod, we could get that extra bounce, we could get a little bit more consistent damage, and this will help us keep our distance from the boss even more. Since we're not running no HP mods, we're going to be squishy. We want to keep our distance. It's going to help us do that and give us that extra bounce. And I swapped to these focus ones before I had, double blues for the mobbing, but I swapped to the focus ones just so we could get this down to 1.3, so I could spam this more consistently against the boss. But if you feel like you are struggling with bosses, you are dying, you can, take one of these mods off and then throw on the HP mod that you had on before. Help you be a little bit more tanky, help you survive. Or you can get rid of both of these and throw on both the HP. It's really up to you. Just want to show you what I changed on my bossing build. Now for the reactor, I am running a Tech and Colossus for our 2 bottom stats. Those are the main 2 stats. The Colossus is the main stat you want. The second stat, there's 3 different ones you can go for. It's either cooldown, tech as you see, or critical hit damage. It's up to you which one you want to get. The cooldown, if you, let's just say you get the cooldown, you could probably change one of those focus mods to the blue mod for your extra damage. If you get the tech, that extra damage is always going to be there no matter what. If you're running crit hit damage, you got to remember bosses have crit hit resistance, so sometimes you might not get that critical hit rate on a boss for your damage, and then you're going to miss out on that crit hit damage. So there's the one benefit that tech is going to have over crit hit damage. That's not going to be an issue. The damage boost from tech is always going to be there because you're not depending on crit. While the crit hit damage, you got to make sure you crit. But when it comes to those 3 stats, get whatever one you could get first. Hopefully it's Gold Colossus, and just stick with it. And if it comes with cooldown, tech, or crit hit damage, that's a bonus. But don't stress over it. Like I said, just make sure it has Colossus on the reactor. Now for the components, we are running the same 4-piece Slayer. Nothing changed really. Again, make sure that you have the HP and defense, because we are going to be squishy. Now for the weapons, we are using Secret Garden. Again, wanting to match with our reactor, and we're using this again because of the unique ability that we talked about earlier, the tech for the pest control. We're gonna get that extra damage boost. And again, use whatever weapons you want. I am using Smithereens because it's also a great burst DPS damage, not just for void vessels, invasions, or void erosion. It's really great on bosses as well. It's a great way to shred the bosses if you need to, and it's really good on Defiler as well. Now for the tank build, it's going to be based off our other Transcendent mod, Plasma Ball. What it's going to do is going to remove the increased skill critical hit rate for our max MP. And instead, it's going to give us a barrier which allows us to tank and just be a god and just never die. As you can see right here in the passive, look over to the right, the Plasma Ball HP is based off how much MP we have and how much HP we have as well. And the defense of our Plasma Ball, how tanky it is based off our defense as well. It's going to give us 100% caster attribute resistance. So the more resistance you have on, like mod and stuff, the better the tank, the Plasma Ball resistance is going to be. It's also, I have it on a 16-point cooldown. So every 16 seconds, if it's destroyed, it's going to come right back up. and how long it's going to last is 60 seconds. Now for the mods, we are running, you know, double cooldown mods, and I'll talk about these mods in a minute. We're running 2 HP and a defense because we're trying to get as much HP and defense as possible so our plasma ball could be tanky. I am running agony to give us a little bit more MP and defense, because remember, the more MP you have, the more HP your plasma ball is going to have. Now for this mod right here, this is strictly for defiler. Obviously, if you're doing a different boss, you would take this off and you would put something else on. Like for example, if you're Frostwalker or Gluttony, you would want to put a chill one on so you won't get the frostbite. You know, your resistance, change it on depending on the boss, whatever element of the boss. And then these three mods, you can basically keep these on, you can take these off. This build is more of a gun build. It's not a skill damage build. You're not really using your skills to do damage to the boss. It's mainly your guns you're going to use, like your Enduring Legacy, your Smithereen, your Secret Garden, Greg. Those are the weapons you're going to use for damage. I just put this on just so have a little bit more cooldown, and then, you know, make our skill do a little bit more damage. I'm mainly using my first ability to get rid of, like, you know, roly polies in defilers or the kingfishers on pyro, stuff like that. That's what I'm using this for, but you can change these three, put whatever else you want. It's up to you, but this is what I just do on for now. Now when it comes to the reactor, unfortunately I don't have a tech reactor, but you would like to get a reactor that has cooldown and duration. It's going to, you know, make your plasma ball last an extra second longer, and the cooldown is going to go even lower, so you could instantly get your plasma ball back. When it comes to the components, rock whatever is going to give you HP. The more HP you have, the more HP your plasma ball is going to have. So when it comes to your components, use anything that's going to give you HP. As you can see, I'm running double HP. I got HP right here, max MP. I got HP defense here, and I got another HP. And with that, I have 17,000 defense and 22,000 HP. And when it comes to your weapons, you want to use, you know, either Python, Enduring Legacy, you know, you could throw on, where's my Greg at? You could throw on your Greg, and these are your weapons you're gonna be using for damage. Use whatever you have fully catalyzed for damaging bosses, because remember, this build is a gun build. It's not a skill build. Remember, it's a gun build, so you make sure your guns are good to go. Well, that's going to be it for the video. I hope this guide helps you understand Ines Raya abilities better and help you decide on what build to make, what mods to use, and how you should play her. I am going to, for the rest of the video, show full gameplay of me using the tank build in a public defiler with other random players, and so you can get a better understanding how good a tank build is. On that note, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.